guys, happy Tech Tip Thursday. Um, this week I have a really interesting take on how to have students do self-checks. So self-checks can be really helpful because students can see whether or not they've got the material with a very low stakes assessment, right? Because this isn't getting turned in for a grade, it's just whether or not they did it, and they can check themselves until they have it right, right? So here's an example of a self-check that I could give to kids. The answer to the first one is 3, and if the students type the correct answer, the sheet's going to turn green, or the box is going to turn green, I should say. If they type the wrong answer, the box isn't green. So, allows the students to check and make sure they understand things on their own, okay? The way that I would use this is I would probably give it to students, and then part of the directions would be, when you're done, call me over and I'll give you 10 purpose points for completing this self-check, right? Just for figuring out the right answers, even though it gives you the answers eventually, right? I mean, it is sort of like trying to break a password if you don't know, although, how many different combinations could you type in for some of these? But here it is. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And I want to start from scratch for you because I do want you to see it from the beginning, okay? So I'm going to start out with the formatting part. I will make sure that I drop a cheat thing, so those of you that don't need to see all the formatting can go ahead in and go straight to where I talk about doing the self-check, okay? Now, one thing I do want to do is I like having this white space around it. And, well, I should say blue and then white space, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come here. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background color for everything. I'm going to change the fill to a nice pretty color. I like that purple, okay? So now I'm going to come here, and these are going to be, well, this is going to be my directions, okay? And then I'm going to have numbers for my questions, 1, 2. And once I get 1, 2, I can pull it down. I want 10 questions. Okay, and I'm actually going to pull it over. And I'm just going to make this Q1 and Q2. Of course, I would be writing real questions in real life, right? I'm not going to do that in real life. But there's my questions. Now I'm not going to put anything in the answer block because that's going to be blank, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm going to select these. Plus, I'm going to select an extra column for my white space. And I'm going to change the fill of those to white. I like this because it really directs the student's attention, okay? I'm going to resize these, make them very small. Same thing with this one and this one. But then this one's going to need to be bigger. I mean, the way that I write, I probably need very long question blocks. And I would probably make sure that I wrap this text, right? So come up here. Oh, not text, come up here and wrap, okay? Okay, the other thing that I want to do is put in some borders. So I'm going to highlight this, and then I'm actually going to hold down the control key and highlight these, and I can go up to borders. And I want my borders to be solid, like a solid thick line, I should say. And I'm going to do all borders, okay? So put the question here, the answer here, right? So now it looks pretty good. I can, type my directions and all of that. What I need to do now is put in the self-check part. So I'm going to go up to format, and I'm going to do conditional formatting, okay? And it defaults to is not empty, but I'm actually going to switch to the text is exactly. So let's say the question is, what's the part of speech of boy, right? The answer is noun, okay? So if the text is exactly noun, it's going to turn green. Although it could be an interjection, as in, oh boy. But let's go for the very simple thing. What is the part of speech for this word, right? They type in noun, they get it right. They type in verb, they get it wrong. So it doesn't show them green. Very simple. You do have to go through and add a rule for each one. So let's say my second one was text is exactly adverb. Done. Okay. So if I type in adverb here, now it's going to turn green. And your answers can be whatever you want them to be. Okay. One more thing I want to show you, because I do like to remove the distractions for students. So go to view, go to show, and choose grid lines. And that makes the grid lines go away so that the students know they only need to type in these boxes, right? They have the questions, the answers, these boxes. Everything else to them just looks like background. I do have another more advanced way, and I'll be coming to you with that next week. I hope you enjoy this tech tip.